Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Musical People and Journeys rock show. What is this episode all about? Well, let me quickly explain. Every month we do a what we call a kind of festival rock show where me and my friends, we basically review around about 12 rock albums per month, and we rate them out of 5. And you know, just for fun and just for you guys to see what the latest and the greatest in the rock album world is. However, so it's an hour-long show. So what these shows are, what this one-off show is, to take a single album review for you to listen to, which will be about maybe 10 minutes, and for you to kind of, so if you just want to hear, you know, the latest Ghost album rather than listen to the whole show, then you can have a sample of what we're all about, and hopefully, if you enjoy, you can come back and watch the whole show from start to beginning with all the albums kind of reviewed as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe our show, and to spread the message about what we do. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this single album review and the actual show itself. Thank you very much. Because next on stage, and we are moving on, so next on stage is Altaria and their album Wisdom. Now, I want us all just to pause for a minute, because this is a landmark review, people. This is MPJ's 100th album review. 100, people! Now, I know, right? Now, you obviously love my segues. Have we, the album here by Altaria is called Wisdom, have we brought wisdom to our journey? No! Because we're mad. We're not, we're idiots. We're idiots. We're idiots. So there we go, Altaria and Wisdom. Well, let's start off with the glorious rock chick that is... Well, Danny's isn't here, so it has to be Trish.
Thanks for that intro. Okay, so this is a melodic rock album verging on hard rock. It reminded me of some metal acts that were in the late 80s and early 90s. It's a polished album, but quite samey. Nothing stood out that grabbed me, and I really wanted it to, as the opening track had me interested, thinking it was going to hit my sweet spot. That being said, I didn't hate the album, didn't love it, but I liked it.
Okay, now, Dave, we've had our first opening heavy metal rock and roll. You didn't like your power metal. You're bouncing around the festival. You're not in a good mood. Did this help you? Did this take you to somewhere a little bit more of your style?
Not really. I mean, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The first few tracks completely missed the mark for me. I really wasn't enjoying it. But around about track 4, I found it really picked up, and I actually quite enjoyed the end of the album. Some really good riffs. Power to Hill definitely springs to mind. I did find the vocals very underwhelming, though. I did find that they didn't really suit the music a lot of the time. Musically, very 80s rock. But it's all done fairly well. Overall, entertaining listen, but because of the somewhat poor start to the album for me, it suffers, and it's ultimately somewhat middle of the road.
So what do you think changed then? What was those opening tracks to that fourth? What changed?
The opening few tracks, I think, were just a little bit too generic, a little bit just weren't really that great. And the quality of the songs just improved. I think if they had taken those opening few tracks for me, sort of spread them out the rest of the album, it probably would have come across a lot better. But because they're sort of grouped together at the beginning, it did seem quite a slow start for me that just let it down really.
Okay, so Paul, you are the wise one of this quartet, because you do your research, and you find out a little bit of history. Can you bring any wisdom to this band? Where they're from?
Yeah, Altaria from Finland, and I've been in one form or another since 2004. and they've done a wonderful thing here. They've managed to create one of those rare albums that has had the soul sucked out of it. Wisdom 2 should have been called Lifeless 2. I'm not faulting the musicians here, but melodic rock needs to grab you by the balls, or at least pull on your heartstrings. Altaria spectacularly fails in both regards. There was nothing on this album that had my finger twitch, let alone hover over the replay button. I can highly recommend this album to the old people's home to help the poor, drug-induced elderly nod off to sleep quicker. It was, in my opinion, it was just dreadful.
Now, that's harsh. That's harsh. I'm kind of going... The problem with this album, and I think for once, I'm going to have to refer to Dave G, because I think maybe he's got that spot on. I think the problem with this album is that musically it was just okay, but the vocals on it just wasn't right. It just wasn't right. I can't describe it. Sometimes I look back on some of these reviews and I kind of repeat myself a lot, and it's just like, what happened? Because it's almost like there was two pieces of that jigsaw puzzle that just didn't kind of marry up as well. And I think you're right, Dave. I think there was some really good. There was some magic moments, guitar wise. I don't think maybe as bad as what Paul is making out here, because there's some from a musical point of view. There, you know, and certain guitar riffs. There were definitely some magic moments in this album, but just vocally, it just kind of let down, which left it as just an average Joe of an album. Really, it wasn't awful, certainly, but I do sound like a broken record sometimes when it comes to this average kind of description of a band, because it just happens to describe it. It was just okay, but let down, I thought, vocally on the album in its entirety as well. I think Paul, Chris is probably going to be somewhere down with you as well. Didn't particularly think the album was good. Shame he's not here, so he could have chopped it down, but we didn't need Chopper Dunnins because we got Chopper Pablo doing the chopping today. Let's find out our ratings for our 100th. It's a shame it's maybe this album, but it is what it is. It's our 100th album review. So let's get our MyCart ratings for Wisdom. Trish.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Okay, Dave G.
Middle of the road, so 2.5 or 3, depending on who you ask.
Well, Trish, just give it bang in the middle for her. I mean, do you want to do a Trish in the middle, or
I'll go with it. I'll go with a 2.5.
Go with a 2.5. And Paul,
1.5.
1.5. Based on that review, I was expecting it to be a lot less. Bizarrely,
we've viewed worse. We've definitely heard worse. Look, you leave Marillion out of this, okay? I wasn't there for Marillion, but I'm talking about Neil Young.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I give it a 3. So I kind of almost feel I should have given it lower, but I went in the middle. I did a Trish middle job, and also Christy Chopper D, he would have chopped it down, not as chopper as Pablo though. He give it a 2. So it just scored low, really, didn't it? 6. What's this? 6, 8.5, 10.5, 11, 12. It's below average. Didn't quite make that. Anyway, we are going to move on to our 101st album review. So, who is next on stage?